Hello everyone, I am Rym Mamlouk Mellouli, Assistant Professor in Image Design at the Higher Institute of Fine Arts of Sousse, University of Sousse, Tunisia, member of the LLTA Research Laboratory at DNT. I would first like to thank the organizers of this conference. My presentation explored the contemporary transformation of the body on social media through the concept of the body image and the flash pairing, which I use to analyze current forms of avatarization. My aim is to show that digital platforms don't merely represent the body but actively participate in its visual reconfiguration. Social media profoundly reconfigure contemporary regimes of bodily visibility. The body is no longer merely represented, that it's captured, filtered, retouched, framed, and circulated. I therefore describe its body image a visual forms that is simultaneously sensory, technological, and social. The central research question of the study may be formulated as follows. How does social media reconfigure the body into a body image at the intersection of embodied presence, visual stylization, and digital regimes of visibility? More specifically, I seek to understand how forms of avatarization articulate bodily presence, design operations, and platform norms. The hypothesis I propose is that contemporary forms of avatarization can be analyzed through a tension between flesh and flash. Flesh refers to lived flesh, presence, affects, vulnerability, and singularity. Flash, in turn, refers to the brains of digital visibility, intensity, effect, visual impact, and attention capture. The avatar thus appears as an intermediate force between body and machine. The theoretical framework of this research brings together several approaches. Goffman helps us think about self-presentation, Butler about performativity, and Le Breton about the body as a site of symbolic investment. Belting, for his part, sheds light on the relationship between body, image, and medium, while Gunther and Manovich allow this reflection to be situated within the logics of the digital image, its circulation, and its transformation. To analyze these forms of avatarization, I rely on an image design approach organized around three complementary levels: support, device, and environment. Support refers to the form of publication, device to the operation involved in producing visibility, and environment to the technical, metric, and algorithmic framework within which image circulates. Three triad enables me to articulate the materiality of images, their visual construction, and platform logics. The empirical component of this research is based on a corpus compiled during a workshop conducted with students from our institution. Two examples were selected for a qualitative, exploratory, and interpretative analysis. The aim is not to produce a statistical generalization, but to closely observe modalities of avatarization through a semiological and visual analysis of the posters. The choice of this limited corpus that allows us to prioritize depth of analysis over quantitative scope. Here I first want to show the progression from the original image to its visual transformation. What is striking is that the subject remains recognizable even as he inserted into a highly staged heritage setting. In this first case study, the body image is constructed through a strong heritage-based visual anchoring, as the student projects himself into to his native city, Duga, through a staging set among its historical monuments. What is particularly interesting here is that the subject's physical transformation remains relatively moderate. The general facial features are preserved, as are ordinary elements of the dress, such as the t-shirt and jean. Avatarization therefore operates here less through a deep transformation of the body than through its inscription within a visual staged heritage setting. The tension between flesh and flash thus remains relatively balanced. Embodied presence is still audible, even though it is already engaged in a process of visual elaboration. On Instagram, this post received 180 views. This Instagram story capture shows that the post reaches 180 views, a moderate level of visibility and engagement. Here, I first want to show the transformation process in the second case study. Unlike the first example, the visual stylization is much more pronounced. The body, the clothing, and the posture are clearly transformed, which make the avatarization immediately visible. At the same time, the setting of Sidi Bou Said remains strongly present, especially through the blue door and the surrounding architecture. In the second case study, the body image takes the form of a more intensified avatarization, shaped through a Barbie-inspired aesthetic. That stands out immediately is the marked transformation of the body, the clothing, and the posture. The close-up further reinforces the idealized treatment of the face, making the visual construction even more legible. The image is clearly designed for strong visual impact, turning the body into a visual canvas of aesthetic projection. In this sense, the logic of a flash becomes dominant. Yet this transformation does not unload is an abstract or natural space. The setting of Sidi Bou Said, especially the blue door, remains omnipresent and provides a strong spatial and cultural anchoring. The image thus combines aesthetic transformation with local visual identity. This Facebook video capture shows that the post reached 163 views, indicating a higher level of visibility than in the first case. It also generated a more positive audience response, with more reactions and engagement. This suggests that a more visibility stylized form of avatarization may attract greater attention on the platform. Having examined the two case studies, we can now compare them in order to better understand the dynamics at work. This comparison shows that we are not simply dealing with a contrast between the authentic and the artificial. Rather, what emerges is a continuum of avatarization in which the body is visually configured to different degrees. The first case, with its more visible presence and moderate stylization, encompasses a logic of presence. The second, with its less perceptibly embodiment and stronger stylization, foregrounds a logic of impact. What appears, therefore, is a constant negotiation between these two poles. This analysis leads to four main findings. First, the body increasingly becomes a body image, no longer simply a biological entity, but a media form designed for circulation. Second, avatarization can be understood as a visual design of the self, that is, as a deliberate construction of visibility. Third, these practices reveals a constant negotiation between singularity and standardization between individual expression and platform norms. Finally, the body tends to become a body interface, a point of contact between the individual, the image, and the algorithm. In conclusion, social media don't merely represent the body, they actively reshape it. The body avatar lies at the intersection of embodiment, image, and algorithm visibility. The flash pairing provides an essential lens through which to understand the hybridization of lived flesh and intensified visibility. In short, in the age of platforms, the body is no longer merely shown, it is designed to appear. This opens up important avenue for further research on gender, aesthetics norms, and the influence of algorithm on bodily experience. Thank you for your attention.